The newest anime to join the ranks of mainstream shonen, Jujutsu Kaisen is here to take the lead. And considering how one of the main aspects of action-oriented shonen anime is the blood-boiling fights, it's about time that we do a top 10 Jujutsu Kaisen fight scenes. Let's see which of these fights made the top 3. Now, before we begin, make sure you have pressed the like and subscribe button. Well then, shall we begin? Starting from number 10, the first one on our list is Itadori vs. Special Grade. Even though Itadori had barely grasped what it means to be a Jujutsu sorcerer, he ends up in a dire situation. Saving the lives of his friends put his life at risk, but that's okay. When his friends safely reach the outside, he can just let Sakuna handle the rest. Or at least that's what he thought. As the struggle for perseverance continues, right then, for a moment, Itadori is faced with a number of unprecedented dilemmas. And not just that, he also comes across the thing we call death. This fight was Itadori's start. He came face to face with the reality of things. Fushigoro. Number 9. Fushigoro vs. Taudo. Taudo asked Fushigoro a question. What is his taste in women? But Fushigoro's answer didn't satisfy Taudo. He sends to Fushigoro flying with a single blow, and it doesn't end there. Taudo just does not stop. He continues to bestow massive blows on Fushigoro, and things just keep getting messier and messier. All those punches that seem to be popping out of the screen all that intensely, Fushigoro couldn't counter any one of them. But just when he thinks it's over for Fushigoro, he sees a glint in his eyes. That's right folks, our boy Fushigoro was holding back. Unfortunately, the battle ended right there and we never got to see the full extent of Fushigoro's potential. What is that? Number 8. Sakuna vs. Special Grade. As both Fushigoro and Kugisaki finally make it outside the battle zone, Itadori switches with Sakuna. From there on out, it can hardly be called a fight. Sakuna has zero interest in duking it out with this special grade, but the instant he dares raise a hand against Sakuna, he is already a lost cause. Sakuna plays around with him, uses his very own domain expansion, and ultimately slices off this special grade into clean slices. That's the very last we saw of that special grade curse spirit. Number 7. Gojo vs. Sakuna. It is no secret this is the fight that got us hooked on Jujutsu Kaisen. We, as the anime watchers, didn't really know what's going on back when this episode aired, but it was actually the King of Curses versus the strongest Jujutsu sorcerer. Granted, Sakuna was only 1/20th of his potential, but Gojo was also just playing around. From start to finish, the fight lasted only 10 seconds. Everything from the animation to the visuals, and not to mention the music, it was all a job well done.
7、8、9、そろそろかな。
Number 6. Itadori vs. Taudo. Taudo asked Itadori a question. What is his taste in women? And Itadori's answer resonated with Taudo at a deeper psychological and emotional level. Taudo was moved to the point of tears. He knew that from now on, whatever happens, both him and Itadori are best friends. The fight still continues, only this time Taudo has fully acknowledged Itadori and he is fighting him as an equal. Not only that, but his goal is to make Itadori stronger. Guys, this is seriously the most wholesome Jujutsu Kaisen fight yet. No cap.
全力で導く死ぬなよ虎杖登ってこい高みへ
力を貸してくれる
総動部署ウルトラシールド
Panda vs Mechamaru. This fight was a little unusual. We knew next to nothing about the two challengers, yet it almost felt like the grand finale of a side character arc. There's Panda, who identifies as a cursed spirit. Then there's Mechamaru, whose body may be a wreck, but he is still exceptional at using puppets to fight. Both are considerably stronger than they look, and the fight isn't just about defeating each other, it's also surrounded by deep psychological reasons as well as resentment. It's undeniable truth that life doesn't always deal people a fair hand, and having more hardships doesn't make you right either, does it? Well said, Mr. Panda.
そもそも数ごまかしてるし
いや潰すなら着地寸前
Number 4, Itadori vs Jinpei. An emotionally wrecked sorcerer dripping with rage versus a guy who had just found a new friend. It's Jinpei versus Itadori. Going into this fight, Itadori had no idea what Jinpei was going through. Jinpei, on the other hand, knew that Itadori wouldn't be able to understand a thing. He didn't want him to interfere because at this point, Jinpei had already forsaken him. But somewhere along the way, Itadori asked Jinpei the reason, why is he doing this? And the moment he tells Itadori that his mom was killed, the fight ends. Just like that. Itadori hears Jinpei out and they both reach an understanding. But what happens next was something nobody was looking forward to.
いるのかも
Alright guys, looks like we are finally down to the top 3 fights. Let's see what we've got. Gojo vs Jojo. Ever since it was revealed that Gojo Satoru is the strongest character in Jujutsu Kaisen, fans were patiently waiting to see him in some real action. Fortunately, it happened sooner rather than later. In the 7th episode, as the special grade named Jogo approached Gojo all by himself, the battle between them began. We got a number of insights of Gojo Sensei's abilities and prowess, but despite all of that, the more the fight continued, the more the difference in strength became apparent. Jojo was nothing to Gojo. In the end, the fight ended with a breathtaking display of smooth animations and glorious visuals. Not to mention, Gojo Satoru's domain expansion, that was animation at its best. Number 2, Nanami vs Mojito. This one starts off a little slow, and for a moment we actually thought that Nanami might be inferior to Mojito. But then, Nanami's working hours are up and he is about to go overtime. His cursed energy suddenly goes through an abrupt surge. Now, he knows all that Mojito is capable of, and yet he decides to end this with one final blow. He dashes forward, reflects on all the information he has, corners Mojito, and then cuts off his legs. And just like that, he retreats. Mojito, on the other hand, is crushed by a boulder. Be that as it may, Mojito survives.
なんてパワーいやそれより重力が走ったまさか
Number 1, Itadori vs Mojito. Right when Jinpei and Itadori had finished talking, Mojito enters the chat. He instantly changes the composition of Junpei's body and soul. Itadori was devastated. He wanted to cure Jinpei no matter what. He even called out to Sakuna for help, but that was all futile. Jinpei died. Itadori started dripping with rage. There is nothing that he wanted more than killing Mojito. Overwhelmed with emotion and smothered with a desire for revenge, Itadori charges straight at Mojito, delivers massive blows one after another. The intensity of this fight was seeping out of the screen, and the emotional impact of this episode was insane. There you go, guys. These were my picks for the top 10 Jujutsu Kaisen fight scenes. Now, before you go, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel grow, and that is my goal. Also, what was your take on these fights? Share your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you're interested in the top 10 funniest moments of Jujutsu Kaisen, we have a video just for that. You can check it out. The link will be in the description box down below. Well then, I'll see you guys on my next video.